Okay. So I just made a list of what I want to see those 15 games, and guess what? In the same day, Sony decides to finally reveal those 15 games. And looking at the list, I honestly gotta say I'm quite disappointed, as you can probably see. But like I said, I'm going to talk about those games now that are officially coming with the console. And let's start with the first on the list, Battle Arena Toshinden. I remember when I bought PlayStation back in 97 and it came with the demo 1 disc. There was Battle Arena Toshinden in that demo, but I'm not sure if it was Battle Toshinden 2. I don't know, is there even the second one? Or was it the first one? And it was just an okay to me. Um, I know many fans really like that game, but I gotta say, to me, it's just okay to have. Nothing more to say, really. Quite logical choice for Sony, I think, because as seeing on the list, quite logically, many of these games are from the early PlayStation era, and that's perfectly understandable. Yeah, I guess there could be worse games for me on a beat 'em up genre than Battle Arena Toshinden. But next one, Cool Boulders 2. I like snowboarding games. They are quite fun to play. And I really can't remember if it was Cool Boulders 2 or 3 or 4 that I have played back in the day. I'm not sure, but that's definitely, in my opinion, better choice. I mean, better choice. Well, it's a very different genre, of course, than Battle Arena Toshinden, but I'm quite happy with the Cool Boulders 2. And does it have split screen multiplayer also? I haven't checked that. I would guess it will have, and that would be nice. That would be really nice. At least have a multiplayer. So, Cool Borders 2, yeah, quite happy with that. Then Destruction Derby, but the first one. I was quite sure there will be Destruction Derby, but the second one could have been so much better choice in my opinion. I think the second one is way better than the first one, but it's just my opinion. So there might be gamers that think the first one is better, and that's okay. Ev- Everyone has their opinions naturally. Uh, but for me, Destruction Derby 2 would have been so much more interesting to play. But yeah, it's still I'm pretty happy getting the first Destruction Derby. I gotta say, I'm not that disappointed of that decision. So, hmm, it's okay. Then Grand Theft Auto, the first one. I kinda expected it to be on the console, but it still surprised me a little bit. Um, I have played that game back in the day quite a lot, and it was fun. But of course, for many, I think the Grand Theft Auto 3 was revolutionary in many ways, and I think it's the best GTA game for me. I haven't played the newer ones like 4 or 5, so I can't say much about those games, but the old GTA games, Grand Theft Auto, yeah, it's pretty nice choice. I'm not disappointed in that either. So that's quite good choice, I think. But like in the Destruction Derby, Grand Theft Auto 2 might have been better choice. But like I said, I can see that Sony decided to put games on the early era of PlayStation, and I was expecting that, I must say. So I'm not that surprised that it's the first one. Then the game I'm not familiar with, Intelligent Cube. It sounds like a puzzle game, but I really have to take a look at that game, what it's all about. But it really sounds like a puzzle game. But was it that big hit? Because I have never heard of that game, and I know a lot of PlayStation 1 games. But like I said in my first video, also Jumping Flash is in the console, which means Sony also put games that are not so big classic and well sold games, and that's perfectly fine. And I can see, looking at the list, Sony also wanted the big keyword was a variation, and I can always appreciate the variation of games. You know, giving all kinds of games from all kinds of genres. Yeah, that's perfectly fine for me. Perfectly fine. I can see that definitely. That was the key for Sony to choose these games. But like I said, I have to check that game, what it's all about. Definitely might be might be quite interesting game. And yes, thank God there will be Metal Gear Solid. I was so afraid when I saw the news that there is now the official list. And before I checked the list, I was like, oh God, let there be MGS, or I will be so totally fucking disappointed. But yes, MGS made it. Like Chris Jericho would have said if someone here watches WWE, you just made the list! So MGS just made the list. You stupid idiot! Okay, no, MGS is not a stupid idiot. Not at all. And the next one, Mr. Thriller. I'm not very familiar with that game, but then again, I think that's a puzzle game. I mean, I know I'm familiar with the name because I wasn't familiar even with the Intelligent Cube name. I haven't ever heard of that, but I have heard of Mr. Thriller, and yeah, I could almost surely say that it's a puzzle game. But yeah, and quite popular one too, because I have heard that quite many times, but I haven't played it personally. So it will be, of course, always interesting to play games that I haven't played back in the day. So mm, I like puzzle games, and like I said, I see the variation here. So Mr. Thriller, yeah, quite nice choice. Then Oddworld Apes Odyssey. I'm quite surprised that I didn't thought about that game at all, because now looking that there will be Oddworld, I'm like, of course there will be Oddworld, because that was so huge game, and I didn't play it back in that day, so it will be nice to play the original classic December 3rd. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. One of those better choices, in my opinion, in this list. Definitely Oddworld Apes Odyssey. And then Rayman. Rayman. Legendary character. Not as big as Crash, of course, which leads me to really think that why is there not Crash Team Racing or even Crash Bandicoot? But we'll get back to that later. I'm going to talk about games that didn't make the list and why. But Rayman 1, yeah, the first Rayman was the 3D platformer, whereas the second one was 3D platformer. And I'm more familiar with the Rayman 2. Was it named Great Escape or something? I'm more familiar with that. And I haven't played the first Rayman, so yeah, that would also be interesting to play that game for the first time also. And thank the fucking god, Resident Evil game is included. And like I earlier mentioned, I think it's going to be the first one, and it is. But it's not the original version, it's the director's cut. And that's a better choice because it just have extras. So it's a, in my opinion, in every way the better version than the first version of Resident Evil. And I've played Director's Cut so many times, but like many Resident Evil games, I'm a fucking huge Resident Evil fan, and I never get tired of Resident Evil games. Never. So having Resident Evil Director's Cut, it's definitely one of those better choices. And I'm extremely happy about it. So hats off to Sony for including this gem. Then Revelations Persona. I gotta say, I'm not familiar at all. What is this game about? I mean, I know Persona series. Is this a Persona series game? Tell me, I'm not sure, but I think it is a Persona series game. And probably very early one, maybe the first one ever. I don't really know. I'm just guessing, but I don't know basically anything about this game, so I can't really say anything about this game personally, other than it's interesting to see a fresh game for me that I have never played, so it's always quite nice. still kind of weird choice, I would say. But then, okay, move on. The next one, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Is it like a Super Street Fighter puzzle game? Or am I mixing it with other game? I'm not real sure, but it says puzzle in the game's name, so yeah, it's definitely a puzzle game, and looks like there is more puzzle games than I thought there would be. Like Mr. Thriller, Intelligent Cube, I think it's puzzle game, and now this. So again, I can't really say much about this game. So I'll just move on. The next one, Siphon Filter. Yes, I didn't mention that game on my list, but it's very familiar series to me. I have played almost every Siphon Filter game there is. In fact, I think I have played them all. And again, it's the first one, so I can perfectly see the reason they included the first Siphon Filter. Uh, Probably my favorites in the series are the PSP Siphon Filter games. I think it was Dark Mirror or something like that, and can't remember the other. But there was two Siphon Filter games on PSP, and I really loved those games. And of course, I've played these PlayStation 1 Siphon Filters, three of them. Uh, so I'm quite happy about the inclusion of Siphon Filter. Not disappointed in that pick. So yeah, that's definitely nice to have. Then Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. At first, when I saw that game on the list, I just thought first person shooter without analog sticks. Um, can't be that fun. I mean, it it's really hard to play. It's really hard to play first person shooter with just directional buttons. Um, but the game itself, aside from the gameplay and controls, it's okay. It's okay. But personally, I would have traded that game for, let's say, another FPS. Let's say Doom. Yeah, I would definitely switch this game to Doom or Duke Nukem 3D. They would have been better choices personally for me. Um, then the last one, Twisted Metal, but it's the first one, and I have played the first one, and mm, I think the first one wasn't that good. I think they really made the game better in the sequel in every way, and also the sequel had split screen multiplayer multiplayer, but does this also have? I'm not sure. It's really nice if this also has split screen multiplayer. Then I wouldn't be so disappointed that it's the first one and not the second. So, yeah, those were the 15 games, and I just can't think anything else that than I'm really okay, not really, but I am disappointed with this list. I mean, so many classics are missing here, like Silent Hill, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, Tomb Raider, like I said, Crash Bandicoot, Crash Team Racing, um, so many classic, huge games are missing from this list. And when you know that these are the 20 games you have to live with, and you won't be getting any more games because the classic console won't be internet enabled, and you can't download or buy any more games in the future. So in that sense, I am disappointed. But also, it's nice to have the full list now so we can just stop the speculation and everything and just move on with the official list and just accept what we are given. And like always, not everyone can be satisfied with these games. It's just logical and natural. But I still think this list is the kind of list that there are games for everyone. There are definitely games for everyone. At least couple of games that everyone will like. And I understand this was really tough for Sony to put this list. I mean, they have probably thought this list so heavily and try to satisfy as many fans as possible. And like I said, the variation here is really good, and I always appreciate that. And yeah, there still be, like I said, there still be many games for everyone in this list. I hope so. I don't think there will be a game that don't like any of these games. No, no, I don't think that. Uh, but yeah, not everyone is satisfied, and that's perfectly fine. And I'm just half satisfied about these decisions. So Yeah, there you go. The full list. Now we know all the 20 games, and now we can just focus on waiting for the release itself. December 3rd. Come fast. Because I was thinking for myself that this list have to be so bad that I'm going to cancel my pre-order, and that's definitely not the case here. I will definitely buy this console. The list is not that bad, don't get me wrong. It was good. It was good. There was still many games that I really like here. So yeah, that's it. And I have thought about to make, at least if I'm not doing any videos earlier than 3rd of December, I will probably do an unboxing video of the console itself. Probably, maybe. But we'll see. I'm quite sure I will make the unboxing video. I can almost 100% sure tell you that. But okay, that's it. Everything is official now, and I'll have to think about these selections. Now, yeah, there's a lot to think about here, and I'm going to check out those games that were not familiar to me, definitely. So, we'll see you in the next video. It is probably related to PlayStation Classic, and if not earlier, then yeah, I will be doing on the release day the unboxing video.